Hey YouTube, it's BudgetBugout here with the late Boy Scout here in beautiful Utah, and very excited to ask him 5 questions. And I'm assuming he's going to answer them correctly.
I kind of doubt it though. I haven't studied, I didn't get the cliff notes, I'm probably going to get most of it wrong.
Well, if you do, there's no way of us knowing if it makes you feel better.
It does make me feel better.
But stay tuned for part 2 of my interview with late Boy Scout, and the second part is actually going to be just a pocket dump. So stay tuned for that. Links will be in the description box below, as well as links for Late Boy Scout's channel. So stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and dive into those 5 questions. Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. This is Late Boy Scout. He's got an awesome channel. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that as we go along. So I'm going to be asking him 5 questions, and then we're going to he's going to show us his pocket dump. And he's been doing this longer than I have, so I'm interested to interested to see what he's got going on in his everyday carry system, and I'm sure you will be too. So, late Boy Scout, if you just want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure.
And then kind of talk a little bit about your channel.
Yeah, sure. So my channel is called the Late Boy Scout, and I've got videos on guns, knives, outdoors, and sort of everyday preparedness. And I try to take, it's a little bit of a new person's perspective. I mean, I've kind of been at it with the YouTube thing and with the learning curve and the learning process I've been going through for several years now, but it started off very much as a, you know, I know this stuff is important and I know I need to get back into it or learn more about it from the time when I was a Boy Scout as a youth, but didn't learn all that much, at least not as much as I felt like I should. And to now being an adult and having children of my own, I need some of this kind of preparedness, some of this kind of knowledge. And so that was sort of the point of the name of the Late Boy Scout, as well as some of the point of my YouTube channel. It just so happens that I've been able to learn a ton of things as I've been able to share things as well. Well,
you already stole the first one of my questions, which is how did you come up with your channel name? But the second question is very similar to that. Why did you get started? Was it just because you wanted to share with people your information? Was that your main motivation for starting a YouTube channel?
You know, I heard you could get rich on YouTube.
That's why I started.
Just kidding.
Hence the BudgetBugout. I don't have a lot of money.
When I started the YouTube channel, you couldn't even earn money from YouTube. It's true. I mean, it was a brand new thing. I wouldn't say brand new, but there were people that were doing a lot on YouTube and making big videos and stuff like that, and having channels and stuff. But I mean, we're talking 5 or so years ago. The ads that came in pre-rolls or on the sides of videos, they didn't really exist at the time that I started. So earning money on YouTube, I didn't really see how it was possible, but I got into it anyway, because I think the main reason was I watched a lot of videos, I was consuming a lot of videos, I was learning a lot of things from those videos. Some of the things I was learning, I realized that I had a little bit of my own slant, my own perspective that I could put on some of the stuff I was learning, and things I was, that I could talk about. So I wanted to try. I wanted to see if I could come from, like I said, kind of a somewhat beginner's perspective or getting back into it perspective, and see if I could add something to the conversation. So that's kind of been the purpose of the channel from the beginning. Have I answered your question?
Oh yeah. Okay. And I was thinking about what I should use as another question, because since you stole the first one, it's also similar. What would you recommend for people who maybe they have a good knowledge base and they'd like to start a YouTube channel and they like to share stuff? What would be your tips for starting a YouTube channel?
Oh gosh, well, you talked about probably the biggest thing, and that is talk about things you like, right? Or do what you like. Make videos that you would watch. And that's, if you're not doing that, then anything else you're doing doesn't really matter. So I think that's probably key. Start with something that you know you like, that you know you want to talk about, and make your videos about that stuff. How's it going, folks?
We're in a general area, so people are
How's it going?
By. Okay, so
yeah, I don't know if I could expound on that at all.
Go for it.
There's a ton of other challenges that will kind of come along with starting a channel, though. One of those is just getting traction, getting going. And I don't honestly, I have a hard time sort of telling you or explaining how how I managed to get any traction, because I feel like I did what I wanted to do, I said what I wanted to say, and said it the way I wanted to say it, and it kind of managed to resonate with certain people. I think that's maybe one good point. You got to realize that your message or what you have to say, or your personality, your perspective is not going to resonate with everybody that watches your video. You're going to have people that come in and just hate your guts for no apparent reason. And you're going to have people that think that you're the awesomest for no reason you can explain. So, I don't know, I mean, realize that you're going to resonate, you're going to connect with certain folks, and other folks they're not going to be a good fit or a good match with your content, and they will typically go away. If they don't like what they're seeing, they'll stop watching. And you'll end up with people who enjoy what you're doing. And I've been fortunate enough to have an audience that, for the most part, really seems to enjoy what I'm doing, and that's great. I mean, it makes me feel good that I could do and talk about the things that are really interesting to me, and again, for the most part, they resonate with the people that are watching.
And that's a good point. You kind of end on a positive note. Sometimes people who are content creators, which is what we are, we get frustrated from a bad comment, and maybe it's something that we knew while we were filming it that someone would call us out on it, and it just kind of irks us, and we ignore all of the dozens or hundreds of positive comments that you'll get. So yeah, that you bring a good mindset to that, you know.
So anyway, you got to focus on the positive.
Yeah, you got to stay positive and just kind of let things roll off. So, just like on his channel, I didn't know what the questions were. Even though he's anticipating and preemptively answering these questions, he does not know what I'm asking him.
It's true.
The next question, and you haven't answered this yet, is if you had one knife, and this is vague intentionally, for the rest of your life, you could only have one knife, what knife would it be?
Oh gosh. That is a really, really hard question. The hardest thing about that is there's just so many out there that are really good. And I don't think I could narrow it down to one exact model necessarily, because again, you know, what comes out, what's out right now, what has been out in the past, what will come out in 5 or 10 years, there's going to be, as you guys probably know, there's just a myriad of different knife types, whether they be folding or fixed, that are great knives. And you can find 100 knives that fit into the same role that are very good for the same purpose, or more than 100 knives. And you'll be able to, you know, that will continue for, you know, the rest of our lives probably.
Right. And knives were like one of the first tools that mankind come up with.
And and it's a great thing. It's a great thing. It's great that there's so many and that there will be so many. I would probably say if there was one knife that I had to choose and stick with, and that was all I'd be able to have for the rest of my life, I'd probably go with something fixed blade. And I'd probably make it small enough to fit in my pocket within a sheath. Right now, the Yessi Azula comes to mind. That's a very good knife. It's small, it's very light, it's pocketable, you can EDC it. You can wear it around your neck if you choose to. You can put it on your belt if you want to, carry it horizontally. It works great for EDC tasks. You can do hard work with it. It's 1095 steel with a really aggressive coating on it that's going to repel rust and repel corrosion and whatever. So again, that's probably one model that I could think of right now, but looking forward into the future, there's going to be dozens, hundreds, thousands of knives that fit into that exact same role, same description that would work just as well. So I would say, if I could only choose one, a pocketable fixed blade. And
that's a part of the excitement that goes along with our hobbies and our interests, is that there's always something new right around the corner. And it's exciting for us, frustrating for significant others possibly, but worth it for us.
It's also exciting that we don't have to stick to just one knife.
Yes.
You know, it's great that there is that huge variety out there that we can choose from.
And you're going to see his pocket dump, but I'm sure just like mine, I rotate different things throughout the system and try to fine tune it. Yep. And then something new comes along, and I try to see if that integrates.
Yep.
So the next thing is, what about
number 4?
Yes.
Because we skipped the first one because I answered it right off the bat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is question number 4.
All right.
And kind of touched on this a little bit, but what is your background, your training? For me, and a lot of people know this, I have some military training, I have some Red Cross training. What about you? How did you grow up? Does that play a role? Right. Were you influenced by anything growing up, or is there any other background that you have that you'd like to share?
Sure. I mean, I could say that for a living, I don't do anything related to outdoors, guns, knives, military, police. I've never done anything like that. I've never been in any of that kind of a role. The work I do could closely be described as a graphic design, a type of graphic design. And so I'm in an office environment. I'm in the type of environment that a lot of Americans are in.
Right, that's where most people are like.
Yeah. They do their work at a desk, whether it be at a computer or doing something else, but people do a lot of, whether it be paperwork or computer work or something, but a lot of people work in an office environment, and that's what I do. So as far as my professional experience, it is very unrelated to what my outside interest is, or the YouTube interest is. So as far as like training, I do try to stay current in CPR, first aid and stuff like that. I think it's been the last, maybe a couple of years ago, the last time I had some experience getting trained in that. I want to stay current, I want to stay practiced in it, but not the kind of practice where you have to fix his leg or something like that. But
you don't do it every day.
No, definitely not, but I do want to stay freshened up on it. Also, I think AED, I got training in that, and a few other things like that. CERT is another point I didn't talk about. CERT, Community Emergency Response Teams, is something I got trained in a while back. Haven't stayed super current with that, but it was really good training. Firearms related training, I've gotten handgun, rifle, shotgun, and long range rifle training. The majority of that has been down at Front Sight, Nevada, which you may love Front Sight, you may think they're cool, you may not like them at all. I honestly don't care what your opinion is. I think they give you a good foundational understanding of whatever it is you're trying to learn. And though their techniques may not be the most cutting edge, again, it's a great foundation. So you could start from that and learn other things very quickly. And it's also very affordable for me. I also went to Sniper Country, which I think is still operating, and that's where I learned some long-range stuff. And I try to practice that stuff pretty frequently. So as far as my firearms training, that's sort of what background I have. Again, doesn't come from a professional background where I've been in a police force or a security job or military or anything like that. I think that folks that serve in the military do a great job, and I love that we have so many wonderful people here on YouTube offering advice from a military perspective, like this guy right here. But of course, I also feel like the civilian perspective is really interesting, and I think, I talked to a lot of military guys in the past, and they say it's great that we have the civilian perspective, because these are the guys that are the hobbyists that really get into it and learn the minutia and just have a great time with it and do it because they love it. And again, not disparaging military or police, but I think we should also have some appreciation for civilian enthusiasts, and that's all I am.
I agree. A lot of military members, they kind of come at the mindset of, working. It's just like a day job for them, and sort of like any job that you don't like, you might not care about, and you might not be as proficient about it. But if you got a passion for it, you might be. I don't want to scare the country or anything like that, but you might be better trained than some of the military members that are out there, just because you have the passion for it. And other people, they might be counting down the months until their enlistment ends. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. If it's your day job, sometimes you don't want to take it home.
Right, exactly.
I could say that about my day job. Sometimes, I do take it home from time to time, but there you go.
So, question number 5, the last question.
All right.
So, a lot of us have significant others, and most of my viewers are male, an overwhelming majority. What would you say? How does it work with you? Because I know how it works with me, with my significant other, and getting permission and things to pursue our passions and our hobbies. And because our hobbies aren't necessarily like car, it's easy to categorize. Oh, he likes cars, or he gets a lot of tattoos, That's his passion, and nothing against those things. But
Yeah.
our niche is sort of not as commonplace. So would you agree?
Yeah, sure.
So what would you say? How does it work with your family in the dynamics that you can spread wisdom to some of us who, not me, honey, not me, I love you. Some of us who might get frustrated about, and maybe our wife won't let us buy the new gun or won't let us buy the new knife. What are some tips maybe for some people that are struggling with that kind of thing?
Oh, well, first of all, it's always going to be a struggle. And you always have to think and pay really close attention and play that balancing act of the things that are really important in your life. And there's no doubt to me that my wife and my kids are the most important thing in my life. Now I need to, number one, support them with my day job, which has to come first, and support them in a number of other ways, including spiritual means. But I also need to have something that's for me, that re-energizes me and gives me the passion and sort of the drive to get back to the grindstone, if you know what I mean. Kind of enjoy those or bear those things that feel like they're a burden sometimes, like work. So I think my wife has a good understanding of that. She recognizes that the thing I do on YouTube and the videos, not the guns, the knives, all that stuff is something that, again, kind of helps me feel re-energized again. And people have different things that do that for them. Sometimes it has nothing to do with lots of cool gear. It just has to do with going out and riding your bike for a long time, or being a runner, or hiking in beautiful places like this, getting away and having that personal time. It could also be time with other people, sometimes going to parties or getting caught up with your friends and hanging out with your old buddies. That's the thing that re-energizes you and helps you feel, okay, I can go back to what I need to do, as a responsible father. And that's great. And it doesn't matter what that thing is for you, you've got to be able to balance all that together. And I think that, however, though, as a guy or as a provider for my family, I'm starting to recognize that you're going to need that. You're going to need something that's just for you. So, what is it that's kind of helped my wife to see that perspective? That's tough to say, but I think that, and I'm not necessarily good at this or saying that I've done a great job at it, but I think when you're married, the thing you have to do is think about your spouse first and give your spouse as much time and as much attention, as much love as you possibly can, and your spouse will see that you need some of that back. And if you're putting money in the bank, so to speak, you should be getting some back. And I think when you are generous with that love and that kindness and helping your wife to feel supported and taking the kids somewhere and doing something, or letting her go do the thing that she loves to do. In my case, my wife loves to run. When I'm supportive of that, or trying to be supportive, and I haven't been perfectly supportive, but when I try to be supportive of her things, it helps her to feel like, well, what's that now? You want to go play in the woods with 5 knives? Yeah, that's cool, I guess. Go on. Go have a day. Go have a night and go play with some knives for a while. Or what's that? You want to go for a couple hours and go shoot? Yeah, no big deal. I'll be here. And it becomes not a big deal to her. She's got her thing, the thing that re-energizes her, and she realizes that I need something. So I guess probably the key bit of advice there, if you want support from your wife in whatever it is you're trying to do, first support her in the things that she needs, and then you will get some of that back.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. So I think you did a great job answering those questions. I don't know if you answered them correctly or not, but I'm just going to assume that you did. Take your word.
I'm going to wait till the results come back, and hopefully in a few days when they grade the test, we'll know if I passed. But until then, I'll just keep going like I did well. I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, like I said before, make sure that you stay tuned for part 2 of this video series, where you get to see his pocket dump and all the exciting things that he's carrying on him. And be sure also to check out links for his channel in the description box down below. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you coming out here with me and doing this for me. Anyways, stay tuned for part 2.
See ya.